What a week. Final preparations are in place for the Improving Windows Security course, which is starting next week. My wife has put her foot down. We're going to make it happen. Today I was on with Mr. Matt Gagnon, and we spent a little bit of time talking about business email compromise, how that is. We talked about also ransomware, and it's near tripling. And Justin Long, Mac, and how Intel's newest ads are absolutely ridiculous. It's obviously Apple and Intel going at it. Intel is just mad. That's the only explanation I can come up with. So here we go with Mr. Matt.
It is 7:36 on the WGAN Morning News. Craig Peterson, our tech guru, joins us now every week. And guess what? He's here again. Craig, how are you this morning?
Hey, good morning.
Pleasure having you as always. And of course, you hear Craig also on the weekends at 1 o'clock. If you want to hear about all of these topics and more in more depth and detail, listen up. Saturday at 1 o'clock, and you'll hear Craig Peterson's voice right here once again. So, Craig, lots of stuff to get to here. Maybe a fun one to begin with. Apparently, Intel has hired Justin Long. And if you don't know who Justin Long is, if you think back, way back to the early 2000s when he was doing these ads, the I'm a Mac actor, right? Mm-hmm. Remember that guy? Now he's in an ad to mock Macs. And I've seen this in, I think, was it Verizon that hired the Sprint guy, or Sprint hired the Verizon guy? I don't remember. There's a lot of these actors that were in these sort of iconic roles for some of these tech companies are getting snapped up to essentially either make fun of or argue against their old employer. It's funny to see this kind of thing happen.
Yeah, it is. I think you're thinking of Can You Hear Me Now?
Yes, that guy. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is interesting, and it's showing, I think, frankly, some concern, maybe even fright on the part of Intel. You see, what's been happening over the years, not just with Apple, but with other manufacturers, is Intel processors are getting dropped out of our devices. We started seeing that with smartphones. If you have a smartphone today, it doesn't matter if it's Android or if it's based on Apple's iOS, it does not have an Intel processor at its core. And we've been seeing more of that. Surface tablets without Intel. Some of them have them, some of them don't. And, of course, all of these Google Chromebooks also don't have it. So Intel has always been struggling to be recognized, and that's why they came up with the whole Intel Inside campaign. However, they have also been one of the most expensive little CPUs, the processor. If you want a professional Intel processor, it can cost you as much as $8,000 just for the CPU. So Apple has decided we're getting rid of Intel entirely after Intel missed certain benchmarks for performance and battery usage and heat and everything else. And Apple started developing its own chipset here a few years ago for the CPU. It is now completely moving away from Intel over the next 2 years. And in fact, if you buy a Mac Mini, I have one in front of me right now that doesn't have an Intel CPU in there. It has the new Apple M1 chip. Apple is just abandoning them. So they hired Justin Long, the I'm a Mac guy, to show you, this is an Intel computer. And, of course, it really has nothing to do with Intel. And he touches the screen and moves his finger around, and isn't that neat? It pops up, and, look at this. We've got 2 screens on this computer, and I can touch them both. But this MacBook, I can't touch the screen and have it do anything. As though that has anything to do with Intel, Nat. It's crazy.
Indeed. Well, we were talking to Craig Peterson, our tech guru, who joins us on Wednesdays at this time to go over what's happening in the world of technology. In a more serious, perhaps, story here, the knowledge here that ransom payments have more than tripled is a pretty big deal. Ransomware gangs are apparently out there roving around the internet and successfully milking a lot of people out of cash, basically taking them hostage, or taking their machines hostage, if you will, and then promising to give it back if only you give them cash. Talk to me a little bit about the story.
Yeah, that's really driven up the price of Bitcoin, because the ransomware gangs are demanding Bitcoin in payment. It's a little bit harder to trace, but it is still traceable depending on what it is. And the FBI just yesterday released another warning about ransomware attacking businesses, government entities, just on and on. But it is a huge impact on anybody that gets ransomware. And the tripling of ransomware attacks goes hand in hand with people working from home. And that's why I've got this Improving Windows Security course starting next week for everybody, where we're helping you to clean it up because we're working at home. We're not as careful as we were at the office. And because of that now, it makes it even easier for them to get at valuable information. So the best thing you can do is make sure your computer's patched up. Unfortunately, Windows does not ship a secured version of Windows out of the box. You've got to go in. You have to do a bunch of things. That's part of what we cover in our newsletters every week and in some of these courses. But these attackers are improving their techniques. 2020 was a great year from them. They've got this whole double extortion thing now where they will get on your computer, particularly if it's a business-related computer. If you're on a VPN connected to the office, they will spread not only inside your home to other computers, but across the VPN to the office. And they'll start stealing your data before you even know it's happening. And they might be doing that for a week or more. And then once they've got your data, they'll go ahead and encrypt your machines so you can't gain access to it. And then they'll say, okay, pay up, sucker. And if you don't pay up, you don't get your data. If you do pay up, there's only a 50%. Yeah, only half the time will you get your data back, even if you pay them. And by the way, the Justice Department says if you pay them, you're supporting terrorism, and you might get criminal charges against you. And to make matters even worse, they'll then say, okay, by the way, we are another organization. We have your data. If you don't pay out, we will post your data online, and then you'll be in real trouble.
And Craig, the other thing that's worth mentioning here in terms of businesses and people that are experiencing some financial extortion, if you will, business email compromise is also a really big deal. And frankly, I've gotten the emails here about that in this very station. Make sure that your email is being protected and that you're not, falling for phishing scams and all this other stuff. And a lot of email compromise does happen, and apparently accounts for a lot of money.
Yeah, it does. We're talking billions of dollars. Worldwide right now, the FBI estimates that this has cost over $16 billion. We're seeing here last year in the U.S. almost $2 billion. And there are some easy ways to deal with this. And I put it in my newsletter here a couple of weeks ago, and you can always email me at CraigPeterson.com. I'll send you a link to it. But Google has a free website that you can use, and it has some examples of phishing. It's designed for training. You can use it for yourself for home. It's wonderful. It gives you a real interactive pieces of email that you can see on your screen. It is not going to compromise you at all. This is all online. Because with these latest business email compromise attacks, people are getting, again, extortion. It might be tech support, romance scams, which have been very big here during this lockdown because people are, frankly, lonely, and they'll do things like befriend people, befriend you maybe, and will say, hey, listen, my aunt really needs a surgery, and eventually get around to asking you $4 or $5 grand to help with this whatever family problem is, and you're romantically involved online. Maybe you've even had a video chat with them, so you don't realize it's some kid in a basement somewhere over in Eastern Europe. But man, it has gotten really bad. So be careful with this BEC type attack, and take a minute. You can even Google a phishing scam website, and it'll really help you out a lot.
That's been Craig Peterson, our tech guru, who joins us on Wednesdays at this time. Thanks a lot, Craig. As always, appreciate it, and we will talk to you again, sir, next week.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You bet.
My dad used to say "you bet" all of the time. I haven't heard that expression in a very long time. Hey, if you are a Windows user, you've got to make sure you spend a few minutes and sign up on my newsletter list. And you can get that at going to CraigPeterson.com. I will be doing Windows training here. I've got a course coming up. This is a phenomenal course, I think. I explain the why behind what you're doing, so you understand it, you understand the reasons, and then I get into the details of the how. So this is a course I think everybody needs to get. So I've got some special deals for you guys. If you request information on the course, if you've already requested it by responding to one of my emails, my newsletters, and saying, yeah, tell me more about improving my Windows security, I'm going to be giving you guys a coupon that is going to give you 2/3 off. And that coupon's going to be good for you to share with your friends as well for 2 months. Okay, so this is going to be a real quick launch next week. It's only going to be open. You can only buy this course. I think Monday is when we're planning on opening, and it will end Thursday night. So you guys that asked about it beforehand, you signed up before, you will get this coupon. So you can help out your friends. So when they're saying, hey, how do I improve this Windows security thing? You can give them that code. And as I said, it's good for 60 days. Nobody else is going to get that code. So if you're on my regular email list, you are not going to get that code. The only people that are going to get it are the people that have already expressed interest by responding to one of my newsletters in advance of me starting this course on Monday, or opening the cart on Monday. So it's going to be a huge win for you. It's going to be $200 off. Okay, I'm trying to make this affordable for everybody, and on top of it all, I have been promising this for 4 months. So again, talking about Karen putting her foot down, she said, I got to do something for all of these people that have been asking for it, and I haven't got it out yet. So this is going to be great. It is months in the making, and I really think you're going to enjoy it. I'm finishing loading it all up. I'm actually re-editing all of the videos because I did not like the way the captioning was working. I have all of these videos captioned, so if you can't hear it, or if you want to have it running without the sound on at work or wherever, it's burned right into the video. But the captioning, which is a transcription of me speaking, okay, that captioning was getting cut off at the top. So I thought that might be distracting. So I'm re-editing all of the videos to put the captioning a little bit lower down on the screen. And the way I did it is the desktop and the slides, all of the examples are below the captioning. So the captioning is not going to block any part of the video. So you'll be able to see the screenshots and see the slides and everything else with the full caption. Because I know a lot of you guys like to sit there in front of the computer and do this. And of course, you'll be able to do it on as many computers as you want, because you're going to have access to this program for 6 months. And I think that's going to be a very good thing. And it's about a 5-week program is how it's designed. And anyways, so if you sign up in advance, there's a little bit of a trick. You can get a coupon you can share with anybody that is good for 2 months. Nobody else gets that. All right, everybody, take care, and I'll be back on Saturday. And then Monday, expect the opening email letting you know that I'm opening the cart for my Improving Windows Security course. All right, take care, guys.